Hi guys, today we're chatting all about drugstore color correctors, more specifically peachy, salmon, orangey, red ones that are great for correcting dark circles under your eyes. I have several different shades depending on your skin tone, and then also several different formulas depending on your skin type, needs, whatever they may be. Color correcting is really important if you are looking to truly even out your skin tone as much as a full coverage foundation and concealer can work. You don't always want to have to build it up so much to the point where it looks cakey. I also run into the problem sometimes if the tone is not correct. It almost looks a little bit ashy under my eyes. And color correcting, just like a quick mini lesson, basically you are putting something on the color that you're trying to correct, be it redness, blueness, that is the opposite color on the color wheel if I'm not mistaken, and this will correct that color. Then you in turn go in with a concealer or a foundation that will actually match your skin tone. It can look very, very scary, but keep in mind that first of all, this is not something that you have to do or just kind of play around with it when you don't have anywhere to be. And it's not something, I know you can get a little bit caught up sometimes watching Instagram tutorials. This is not something you need to put all over your face. You do not need to make yourself look like a clown or a cat or flowers before you blend it out. Very, very small amounts in targeted areas, and then that way you're just correcting the actual issue that you're looking to correct as opposed to ending up with a green or an orange face and then you're trying to correct that. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into my picks. The first that I want to mention are brand new to the market. They are from Maybelline. They are the Master Camo Color Correcting Pens. I used these in a recent video, so I will link to that down below if you're curious. I'm mentioning just 2 of the 6 shades today because we're just kind of talking under eyes and face darkness, but there's 2 shades that I would recommend. It is the shade Apricot if you have a light to even up to my skin tone, and then if you have deep skin, I really appreciate that they put in this red because for a long time there people were just swiping red lipstick under your eyes, which you can totally do, but I mean, it's not really formulated for that. And if you have a deep skin tone, this is really going to do the job. A lot of the time color correctors, especially at the drugstore, are incredibly pastel, even for my skin tone, and I'm obviously not the darkest shade out there, so really excited to see that they have these in here. It has a nice creamy formula. It's got kind of like a soft touch tip, which is great for getting on the inner corner. I've also used this on the rest of my face, and it's got a creamy formula, but it's also still kind of thin and does dry down. So I think it is nice for the entire face, and I do appreciate that it comes in 2 different shades. Another brand that has really stepped up their color correcting game is Hard Candy. Not so much in Canada, I feel like, I don't know, maybe I've just missed the display, but in the United States, when you see a display of their color correctors, it's amazing. Green, purple, yellow, orange, different formulas, different shades, so no matter your need, I think you're going to be able to find something in there, and color correcting and Hard Candy is incredibly affordable, available at Walmart. So I have 2 to recommend depending on your skin tone. The first is the Sheer Envy Color Correcting Wonder Cushion. This is like quite a light peach shade. I used it in a Hard Candy video, which I will link to down below, and it's too light for me. To actually get that color correcting, you actually need to kind of have that color. You know, it makes sense. If it's too light, you're not going to get the color correcting, so it did look quite ashy on my skin tone, but if you do have a lighter skin tone, this is a beautiful option, especially if you have dry skin. Not that it's super oily, but it definitely has quite a creamy, hydrating formula. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for all over the face, but great under the eyes. You're also getting a ton of product in here. Like, there's 0.5 fluid ounces in here, half the size of a foundation. The one that I have been loving and is more suitable for my skin type and skin tone is the Color Correcting Cream, and this is just in the shade Orange, I think. I will list everything down below. Super creamy formula, quite a deep orange as well. Obviously not as deep as the red from Maybelline, but a little bit deeper than the Apricot from Maybelline, so if you're kind of somewhere in between there, this is a nice option, and I think it works really well on the face as well. It doesn't have as emollient of a formula as this one does. A color corrector that I've actually repurchased. Can you believe it or not? I ran through an entire one of these. I love it that much. It is the NYX Dark Circle Concealer. It comes in a pot, so it definitely has a little bit more of a, I wouldn't say stiff formula, but obviously it's not going to be as creamy as something that comes in a tube. If you have really dry skin, you're probably not going to like this under your eyes. It is great for spot concealing as well. It's somewhere in between creamy and stiff, if that makes sense, so I can get away with it under my eyes. not putting it all the way under, just kind of in the inner corners. I also love it to conceal any kind of really dark acne marks, because my acne marks kind of are somewhere in between like a red and a brown, so this does a good job. Only downside, which is kind of surprising from NYX because they do a really good job with their shade selections for foundations. I feel like this maybe has just gotten a little bit forgotten, but I use mine in the shade Deep, and obviously this is not super dark. I couldn't go any lighter than this for sure. I could even go a little bit deeper. So I do wish that they would extend the range on this, because I think it's a fabulous product and I think more people should be able to try it. So if you are my color or lighter, there's 2 more shades just below this, a medium and a light, I think. It has a really nice peachy concealery feel to it, similar to like a Benefit, what is it called? Boing? Why can't I remember? Erase Paste. Benefit Erase Paste Concealer. That kind of like peachy concealery tone, and it is really nice. Again, NYX is super affordable. I think this is like $5.99. I have another corrector here from Maybelline. This is actually a kit. It is the Master Camo Color Correcting Kit. This again, it comes in 3 different shades, and you're getting 6 different concealers in here, again in a pan. So this is a little bit creamier than the NYX one, so it does well under the eyes along with to spot conceal. So you're getting your corrector shades. You get a pretty nice yellow in here along with an orange. This really reminds me of my MAC Conceal and Correct palette that I have and love. Then you have these 2, mine is so messy I can't even see what it says here, concealer shades, and then you have the highlight shades. So these are all creams, and then you get this kind of shimmery highlighter here. I think the highlighter is really nice. I mean, I don't really care about it that much. It's not something that I reach for all the time, but it is nice. It's a super thin, golden, beautiful formula, but I just don't use cream highlights that much. And this one, I don't know. I'm on the fence about it, but it is pretty. But what I do love here are the 2 correctors. I think they're really nice. Again, this is a pretty deep shade, obviously not as deep as you can go, but I do think that this is a nice palette. Super handy. I don't love the concealers just like as an under eye concealer. I never have really been super into pot concealers for that, but I do like it for color correctors, because a color corrector is something that I really want to make sure is targeted, stays in place, isn't too creamy, and moves around, so this is nice for that. Lastly, I want to mention the LA Girl Pro HD Concealer. This comes in a million different shades, like 30 shades now. There's skin tone shades that you can use as concealer. They have a white as well, and then they've also recently extended the range. So they had a yellow, a green, an orange, and they have a purple, I think. And then they've also added a light yellow and a light peach. So if you have a lighter skin tone to me and this orange is a little bit intimidating, they've actually released a peach, so that could be a great option for you. I haven't tried the yellow in this range, but I do really, really like this. Again, it is quite deep for a color corrector from the drugstore. So if you have a deeper skin tone, this is really nice. It does have a very creamy formula, so it is great under the eye. I do think it works well on the face as well. Not as much for like tiny spot concealing, spot correcting, but sometimes I'll use it like around my mouth, or if you do have any bigger areas of color correcting, of darkness and kind of inconsistencies on your face, then this may be a really nice option for that, and so affordable, $5. So those are my favorite color correctors from the drugstore for the under eyes. Let me know if you have any more recommendations for me down below, and if you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at Samantha Jane YT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!